Hi there. Happy New Year 2023, everybody. I am still in Portugal, house sitting in this place with, the lovely plastic but very, very nicely decorated tree. One, two, three cats and my dog in the room. And I have been thinking that I want to do a series of videos, and I mean, I keep saying that. I know, and then I don't get around to doing it. But I have really been trying to kick myself in the butt, let's put it that way, to motivate myself to actually do this. And that's why I'm starting off on the first day of the year right away, totally unprepared. I wanted to talk about what I want to do, why I want to do it, and why I'm doing it. I want to do a series of videos on the topic of radical self-care. Now, as you can see, I not only artistically, but in any other respect, it's not finished yet. This is going to be way cooler. Grappled with the thing. I mean, self-care, of course, everybody needs that at the moment. We need it more and more and more and more as things get more complicated and in many ways often unpleasant. I didn't like the radical at first, to tell you the truth, because I felt it sounded so, like I'm catching your attention and this is radical self-care. And if you do this, miracles will happen and your life will change completely, which is all true in a way. But no, I didn't like it. But I've been sitting with, the year to come, what it will bring for us, what I think it will bring for us in many respects. And I thought, actually, I really, really want that radical in there because the radical things have been happening and are happening at the moment. They are rarely the radical things we would like to see, or the radical things that the planet would like to see, or the radical kind of change for a more loving, holistic approach to ourselves, to life, to the environment, to Mother Earth, to living with others. The list goes on and on and on. So, I well, I mean, radical self-care also has the advantage of just including basically everything whatsoever. And I promised some people I was going to do a video on parts work, and I will do it. I promise, I promise, I promise. It was a particular aspect of parts work. And of course, even if that says nothing to you, any kind of tool with which you can try to approach yourself and others in a new and fresh way and find out stuff about yourself or others totally counts. It also has, of course, many, many, many layers and levels. I mean, there's the physical level, the emotional level, and the spiritual level, I would say. I think these are mainly the three levels of self-care for me at this moment. And I'm absolutely aware you could choose other words, other terms, other parts of reality and highlight them rather than these three. But for me, they're most important. Yeah, and I think I will start with that and say a tiny little bit about it. I wrote it down here, see. Can you see that? Can you see what I did? I wrote emotional, spiritual, and physical, and then I mirrored that. Yeah, because I can write forwards and backwards. And on the one side, I wrote inner self, and on the other side, I wrote outer self. So I know it's kind of it's overwhelming in a way, but for me, I've also put it into these categories because they actually include everything, not just yourself. They include your environment, what happens to you on a physical level, what manifests around you on a physical level, because that's all the same. I'm coming to this from a very alchemical kind of perspective, as above, so below, as inside, so outside. So we want to include all of this. And well, I give you one example, shall I? For instance, our inner emotions we might not be paying, and that is our premises is we are not doing enough self-care or not radical enough self-care at the moment. Otherwise, our life would be miraculous all the time. So, because we're not paying enough attention, there might be emotions that we are either not noticing, we don't know we have them, we have repressed them since we were little children. They might be attached to trauma that we might or might not know we have. Well, there might, there might be all sorts of complications, or maybe there is an emotion, but we don't know what it is. It can take any form. So that would be an example for what is going on inside and what we would like to really have a look at if we want to be really caring for ourselves. Because obviously it is not self-caring or self-loving to ignore even those emotions that you do not know about, or even those that you have some reasons to repress. It will always backfire. Believe me, it backfires hugely at the moment all over the planet, so just bear with me there. Then, of course, there's also an outer layer to these emotions. And here I want you to see this as a mirror, like the emotions that you meet with or that are called forth or triggered, or that you meet with even in other people, in things that are happening on your television, or the way your animals are behaving, your pets mostly. It all could be potentially something that is corresponding. It mostly is actually. It actually all is something that is corresponding. Why am I playing it down? It all is. But obviously, you don't want to be concentrating on that all day long, which would be very tiring. But it all is kind of playing out. It's like in a dream. In dreams, your dreamscape is the manifestation of your consciousness and your unconsciousness as well into pictures, into 360-degree, depending on what you dream like. Maybe it might not be that much or that explicit or that clear or anything, but basically a world of its own, a parallel kind of universe. So, but same thing applies to your actual experience of life on a daily basis. That means that from that outer world, you get a lot and a lot and a lot of cues, what you might need to address, things that keep popping up, people that you meet that have certain issues that maybe you think you don't have or you had in the past, but why is it still coming up in some ways? So you see what I mean? It's the inner things, the things that you are actually feeling and how you're reacting. And if you see it that way and you're perceiving both things at the same time, you also notice that there's really not that much of a borderline or I don't want to call it a boundary because that's something that is intentional, but there's not really a certain place where you can say, okay, here I start as a separate self and here's everybody else. You can intentionally, like a boundary, pull up that borderline and say, okay, this is my stuff and this is somebody else's stuff. And often that is quite helpful. But in reality, it isn't that easy. I mean, if you want, you could say it's more a scale. It kind of slides more towards what you are, and you are a lot of more than your conscious self or ego or whatever you want to call it your personality, or the personality that you assemble into every day to function in this 3D reality. You are a lot more than that. And that also shows in these where you kind of slowly morph into the outside world. Okay, yeah, I think actually that's enough for one New Year's evening where I'm actually getting a bit cold now because there's not that much of a fire, and yeah, I also could put on some weight. Um, yeah, but on the topic, I mean, no, one more thing I will say, the reason I'm doing this, the reason I'm personally doing that is that through my early infancy experiences and my childhood experiences, I'm kind of like a tightrope walker on the whole theme of self-care, because I did not naturally do a lot of things. And I had to teach myself to do them, but I did that also very early. And I mean, even the problem just came up so early for me that I then quickly became, in many respects, somebody who was very good at these things. Like, for instance, I started very early to, because of illness, to notice that I need to take care of my body, that there's things I should eat and things I shouldn't eat, not because everybody should or shouldn't, but because I personally should not eat them, and so forth, and many other things. I think, yeah, the emotional actually was the last one that I really really took a long time to really get into, because yeah, we're told otherwise, let me put it that way. Yeah, that is why I thought I'd share as much as I can about it. And if anybody has any topic suggestions, guys. Oh, by the way, Joanna, you telling me that you actually did like a painting with intentions for 2023. I thought, oh, that's so nice of her, and I wish I could do that, but I really don't want to. And it's, let's face it, don't know where you are, but there's so many things I am fed up with by now. And it's not good for me, I know. That's another thing. Self-care is when you can notice that you are currently within tendencies that are not good for you, and you spend at least some of your time wondering what to do about it. So yeah, but that actually brought me to, doing this radical self-care drawing, which will get so much better, I swear. And also realizing, yeah, even though I'm quite good at it, it's still what I'm trying to do. Because it is really all inclusive. It even includes the fact that I'm at present really trying to do things that I want to do. I've given me that time, and I want to be doing things that are important to me. That too is a form of self-care, and it can be very radical. It can be also radical. And my firm belief, guys, is that we all did that we all could just go and do that. The life of everybody, things happening on this planet, everything would just change overnight. So, leaving you with that thought, I love you all to bits. Have a lovely, lovely day and a lovely, lovely evening. Well, actually, it's evening now. Who am I kidding? Day's over, done with. Have a lovely night. Bye bye.